Recovering Voices is an interdisciplinary effort to address the kind of global issues around knowledge and language loss and sustainability.
What is happening at present is that you have a small number of languages, about 20% of the world's languages spoken by about 80% of the world's population, which means that most languages around the world are spoken by very small communities, some that have a few thousand speakers, some that have a few hundred speakers, some that have a handful of speakers left.
Now, languages are one way in which knowledge systems are articulated, passed, they're a vehicle through which knowledge is transmitted, and if you will, they're a very important body of repository for knowledge.
For example, within the European cultures, within the English language, there's a huge amount of information that goes back to agricultural culture. Much of our societies have been farming for thousands of years, and so many of the expressions like reap what you sow, you have a lot of metaphors that we may use that we may no longer be agricultural, but we still, within the language, hold this information.
It's how knowledge is articulated in different ways, and how that knowledge, those knowledge systems articulated in language, they're articulated in songs, they're articulated in dance, they're articulated in particular artistic traditions, and why that kind of diversity is actually, it's a good thing and that it should be celebrated.
Now, the reason why the Smithsonian decided to get involved is because it was clear that the vast collections of material culture, of botanical and biological specimens, and of linguistic materials were essential tools in this endeavor.
We have unparalleled collections. There's some of the earliest collections, and there's some of the best documented collections. Many of the ones that we work with, specifically within Recovering Voices, came out of the Bureau of American Ethnology. This was the first anthropological department in the United States. And it was a real pioneer in methodology. And so people were collecting language, plants, cultural information, geographical information in a much more detailed level than prior to the initiation of the Bureau. And certainly for the communities that I work with that are Native American, these are key collections about a period of time where there's a huge amount of change taking place within these communities, and it allows people to reconnect with this history. So the Smithsonian represents a very intensive, long-term investment in the collection of languages.
So what Recovering Voices is about is finding ways to document the current state of knowledge, how that's materialized, articulated through cultural practices, through language, through objects, documenting as well as helping to get communities, helping them with revitalization. So helping them to find ways of passing on knowledge that is dormant, asleep, within communities, within objects, within texts.
And that's really what Recovering Voices is about. It's about a collaborative dynamic, people being able to feed off of each other in discussions, in consultation, and in the process of building knowledge.